कर लाई है सबको कत्ल होने की उम्मीद आशिकों का आज जमघट कूचा है कातिल में है।
The first thing you lose in your life, it isn't your family, it isn't even your freedom. It's the belief that you're going to make it home, because in just a few moments this peaceful garden will become a prison. The exits will disappear. The walls will become too high. Every direction you run led straight into gunfire, and you'll discover something terrifying. Something mess the deadliest trap doesn't have locked doors. It has no way out. This is your story. You're trapped inside Jallianwala Bagh. You push your way through a narrow brick passage, barely wide enough for two people to walk side by side. Then a space opens. A sea of people stretches before your eyes. It's 13 April 1919. Baisakhi, the happiest day of the year. Children race through the dusty ground, laughing as they chase one another. Mothers spread blankets beneath the warm afternoon sun. An old man smiles while sharing roasted peanuts with his grandson. Nearby, a vendor pours cool water into metal cups for exhausted travelers. The air is filled with laughter conversation. You smile. For a moment it doesn't feel like history. It feels like home. You didn't come here to fight. You didn't come carrying a weapon. Like thousands of others, you simply followed the festival crowd into Jallianwala Bagh. Some people have come to hear speeches about the recent arrests of respected Indian leaders. Many others don't even know a meeting is taking place. They're here because today is Baisakhi, a day of celebration, a day of family, a day no one believes could end in tragedy. More and more people continue entering the bag. Farmers in colorful turbans, young students, mothers carrying babies, elderly couples walking slowly with wooden sticks. Within a short time, open ground is packed with thousands of people. You glance toward the entrance you came through. It's surprisingly narrow. The walls surrounding the bag rise high above your head. You wonder why anyone would build a place with only one practical way in and out. Then you shrug it off. Why would escaping ever matter? The speeches begin. Voices rise above the crowd. People clap. Some cheer for justice. Others simply listen in silence. The atmosphere isn't violent. It isn't chaotic. It's hopeful. Then a flock of pigeons suddenly bursts into the sky. The applause fades. You hear something else. Boots? Heverhith Mikmality boots. The sound grows louder with every second. People near the entrance begin turning around. Then they stop. British Indian soldiers march through the narrow passage in perfect formation. Behind them a man carrying a walking stick. His face is cold, expressionless. Brigadier General Reginald Dyer. Without a word, the soldiers spread across the entrance and raised their rifles toward the crowd. Dyer had positioned his men at the main entrance and, according to historical accounts, gave no order for the crowd to disperse before opening fire. Around you, confusion replaces celebration. Someone whispers, "They're just here to scare us." Another laughs nervously, "They can't shoot. There are children here." You want to believe him. You really do. Then the general raises his hand, and in that single moment you realize something that turns your blood cold. You were never trapped because of the walls. You were trapped because someone had already decided. No one was leaving alive. The general raises his hand, and in that single moment you realize something that turns your blood cold. You were never trapped because of the walls. You were trapped because someone had already decided. No one was leaving alive. A single command echoes across the bag, then crack. Fire! The first volley explodes. For a heartbeat, nobody moves. Your mind refuses to believe what your eyes have just seen. A man standing only a few feet away clutches his chest. His white kurta blooms red. He collapses without saying a word. Then another shot, and another. Suddenly, the entire garden erupts into chaos. People scream. Children cry for their mothers. Mothers scream for their children. The air fills with dust, smoke, and the deafening crack of rifles. Your body finally reacts. Run. You turn toward the entrance. Hundreds of people have the same idea. They push. They shove. They stumble over one another, but the soldiers are standing exactly where your only escape should be. Every shot is aimed at the thickest part of the crowd. Historical accounts describe Dyer directing fire where people were most densely gathered, and where they attempted to flee. You stop. Not because you want to, cause there is nowhere left to go. Someone crashes into your back. Another person falls at your feet. Before you can help, the crowd surges again. A terrified mother reaches toward her little boy. Their fingers touch for 1 second. Then the rushing crowd tears them apart. You hear her screaming his name. Again. 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 Then you can't hear her anymore. Only the rifles. Crack. 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 The sound never seems to stop. People begin climbing the walls. Their fingers scrape against rough brick. Some almost reach the top, then bullets strike them. One by one they fall back into the crowd below. You search desperately for another way out. Anything. A hidden gate. A broken wall. Gap. Nothing. Only brick. Only soldiers. Only fear. Then someone shouts, "The well." You turn. Dozens of people are running toward it. At first you think they're trying to hide. Then you see the first man jump. Then another. Then another. Within seconds, people are throwing themselves into the deep well, choosing the darkness below over the bullets above. Many victims leapt into what is now known as the Martyr's Well, in a desperate attempt to escape the gunfire. Some disappear instantly. Others land on bodies already below. The screams rising from inside the well are somehow even worse than the gunfire. You freeze. Do you jump? Or do you stay? Neither feels like survival. Another volley. Burning pain tears through your shoulder. You fall hard onto the dusty ground. The air is knocked from your lungs. Around you, people pile on top of one another. Some are trying to hide. Some are already still. You force yourself not to move. Not because you're brave. Because moving means being seen. Your face presses into the earth. The smell of dust mixes with smoking blood. So much blood it soaks into the ground beneath your hands. The rifles keep firing. Again. 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 Each shot feels slower than the last. Time itself seems to have stopped. Then silence. Not the peaceful silence that welcomed the morning. A broken silence. The kind that only follows unimaginable horror. You don't dare lift your head. You don't know if the soldiers are still watching. You don't know if another volley is coming. All you know is that the voices filling this garden only minutes ago have been replaced by cries for water, whispers for help, and the heartbreaking sound of people calling the names of loved ones who will never answer again. Silence. Not because everyone is safe. Because almost everyone who can scream already has. Your ears ring. Your entire body trembles. You don't know how long you've been lying there. A minute? 5? An hour? Time has stopped making sense. Slowly you lift your head. The garden you entered just minutes ago is gone. The blankets where families shared food are stained red. The children who were laughingly motionless beside their parents. A broken sandal rests in the dust. No one comes back for it. A metal cup rolls slowly across the ground until it finally stops against someone's hand. The hand never moves. You force yourself to sit up. Every movement sends pain through your body. Around you, voices whisper, "Water, please." Help. Some call for their mothers. Some call for their children. Some simply whisper, "Waheguru." Then you hear footsteps again. Your heart freezes. But it isn't another volley. The soldiers are leaving. They don't help the wounded. They don't carry away the dead. They simply turn and walk out through the same narrow entrance, leaving thousands behind. Historical accounts describe Dyer withdrawing after the firing without arranging medical aid for the wounded. You wait. Surely someone will come. Doctors, neighbors, anyone. In 01, the sun begins to disappear. City falls silent. A curfew is imposed. Anyone caught outside risks being shot or arrested. That means the wounded remain exactly where they fell. Some are still alive. Some spend hours calling for water. Some spend their final night alone beneath the open sky. You close your eyes. Not to sleep. To stop hearing the voices. But they never stop. Hours pass. The night grows colder. Then very softly you hear someone crying. A woman. She steps carefully between the bodies, one lantern in her, shaking hands. She isn't searching for money. She isn't searching for safety. She's searching for her husband. Another woman searches for her son. Another kneels beside a body praying it isn't the one she's looking for. Every face they turn over brings either unbearable relief or unbearable grief. The darkness hides nothing. It only makes the waiting longer. By morning truth can no longer be hidden. The ground is soaked with blood. The walls are scarred by bullets. The well is filled with those who believe the darkness below offered a better chance than the bullets above. You leave Jallianwala Bagh, but part of you never does. Every loud sound makes your heart race. Every crowded street reminds you of that afternoon. Every Baisakhi brings back the same memories, the same screams, the same silence. But something else was born that day. Not hope, not peace, resolve. Across India, people heard what happened in this garden. Many who had still believed justice could be found within British rule lost that faith. The massacre became a turning point in the Indian freedom movement, profoundly influencing public opinion and future resistance. Among them a young boy named Bhagatsingh. When he learned what had happened here, he traveled to Jallianwala Bagh. He knelt down, scooped a handful of the blood-soaked soil into a small bottle and carried it home as a reminder of the sacrifice made on this ground. Your research notes describe this act as a defining moment in shaping his revolutionary resolve. Years later that boy would give his own life for India's freedom. The bullets fired inside this garden didn't end here. Echo traveled through generations, through every freedom fighter, through every family that refused to forget. And even today if you stand inside Jallianwala Bagh, you'll still see the bullet marks carved into its walls. You'll still look at the narrow entrance scene, wonder how thousands of innocent people walked in believing they would be home before sunset. Some mothers waited until sunset, some waited until sunrise, mom waited forever because the people they loved never came home. They thought they had buried a crowd. Instead they planted the seed of India's freedom. And if you ever stand inside Jallianwala Bagh, don't ask how many people died. Ask yourself how many dreams never made it home. Because on that Baisakhi afternoon thousands walked into Jallianwala Bagh believing they'd be home before suddenly history walked out. If you believe forgotten stories should never be forgotten, subscribe to Bharat Legends.
चल तेरा रहे माँ रंग बिरंगा, ओ ऊंचा आसमान से हो तेरा तिरंगा। जीने की इज्जत दे दे या हुक्म शहादत दे दे, मंजूर हम में जो भी तू चुने। रेशम का हो मधुशाला या कफन सिपाही